Okay, children, so now we'll continue with our topic. So we discussed till stomach. We'll start with small intestine. Here, one more thing you need to understand, that the food which is now present in stomach has become totally acidic, right? And it has undergone a lot of churning because of walls of muscles. Now this food will exit the stomach and enter the small intestine. Here, the exit of food from stomach is guarded by a special muscle, that those are sphincter muscles. So this name you should remember, that exit of food from stomach is guarded by sphincter muscles. Right, now the food has entered small intestine. Now what will happen in the small intestine? 1. Complete digestion of food will occur in small intestine. That means after small intestine, no other organ will play a role in the process of digestion. Second, after digestion, food will be absorbed into the bloodstream from small intestine. So these two things are very important to note in the small intestine. Now, as I said, complete digestion of food will occur. So what does our food contains? Our food generally contains carbohydrates. These nutrients I am listing here. Carbohydrates, proteins, and fats. So complete digestion will break carbohydrates into simple sugars such as glucose. Proteins will be broken down into amino acids, the building units of proteins, and fats will be broken into fatty acids and glycerol. These are the building units of these complex structures. Right, children? So how this complete digestion of food in the small intestine will occur? So here you need to know that in small intestine, for the digestion in the small intestine, 3 organs play a very important role. Those are the glands which are associated with the alimentary canal. Here when I wrote about the alimentary canal, the organs that are involved, one thing you should add here, that there are 3 glands also which play an important role in alimentary canal. One which we have already discussed, that is the salivary gland. The second gland is liver, and the next is pancreas. So these glands play a very important role. They secrete certain enzymes which help in breaking the food into simple particles. So in small intestine, let us continue with small intestine. So small intestine, liver, pancreas, and the small intestine itself, the glands of small intestine itself will have a very important role in breaking the food into the smaller particles of the building units. So what is the role of liver, what is the role of pancreas, and what is the role of small intestine itself, we'll discuss. Let us start with liver. I'll continue over here. Right, liver, children. As I said, the food which has entered the small intestine is completely acidic. Now here the enzymes which are there, which are secreted by various glands, need alkaline medium for their function. Therefore, the liver will produce bile juice and pour this bile juice into the small intestine. One more thing here you need to note down, that liver secretion, that is the bile juice, is not directly poured into the small intestine. It is first stored in a structure called as gallbladder. All these structures, all the diagrams of these structure is given in your NCERT. Please refer the NCERT for the diagram. Right. So liver will produce bile juice. It will be temporarily stored in the gallbladder, and then this secretion, that is the bile juice, will be poured into the small intestine. Now what will this bile juice do? So as I said, food requires alkaline medium for their function, for the function of enzyme. So liver liver secretion bile juice will first convert the food into alkaline. It will create an alkaline medium. And then this bile juice will break down the bigger molecules of fats into smaller globules, or you can say smaller pieces. Why this breaking of fats into smaller pieces is necessary? See, further as the food is digested by various enzymes, the functioning of or the efficiency of these enzymes will depend upon the size. If the size is bigger, it will take a lot of time to digest those molecules. Therefore, this bile juice breaks these fat molecules which are bigger in size into smaller pieces, smaller globules, which is very similar to emulsification of fats, or emulsification of soap, or you can call it as emulsification, the breaking down of bigger molecules of fats into smaller pieces for increasing the efficiency of other enzymes to work on it. This process is called as emulsification. So here again, liver, which secretes its secretion in the small intestine, not directly in the small intestine, first stored in the gallbladder. The secretion is called as bile juice, and there are two functions of bile juice: one, to make the food alkaline, and number two, to break down the fats into smaller pieces. Then the next secretion secreted by pancreas. So what do pancreas secrete? Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice. Now this pancreatic juice, what it contains? It contains two enzymes. One, trypsin, and the second enzyme is lipase. And what are the roles of these enzymes? Trypsin brings about digestion of proteins, and lipase, as the name itself suggests, lipids, lipase, ase is an suffix for enzymes. So lipase brings digestion of fats, or you can say they work on fats. So I hope it is clear. Pancreas produce pancreatic juice, which contains these two enzymes, trypsin and lipase. Trypsin will digest proteins, lipase will digest fats. Then the third, that is the small intestine itself. So small intestine, there are glands present which will produce intestinal juices. They don't have specific name, this is just called as intestinal juice. It is easy to remember. It will produce intestinal juices. And these intestinal juices, what is their role? Their role is to bring complete digestion of nutrients. So whatever nutrients are there, complete digestion of these nutrients will be brought by small intestine. Like carbohydrates will be broken into glucose, smaller, or you can say the simple sugars. Fats will be broken into amino acids, proteins will be broken into amino acids, and fats will be broken into fatty acids and glycerol. So here the digestion of food has taken place. That means the food has completely digested. As I told you in the beginning, two roles in small intestine. One, bringing about complete digestion of food, and number two, that is absorption of these nutrients by the bloodstream, which will also occur in small intestine. So note, children, you need to note here that for this, the small intestine has made itself in such a manner that it brings about a lot of efficiency in absorption. So how it has become more efficient? So to make it more efficient, small intestine has number of finger-like projections, and these finger-like projections are called as villi or whatever you call it, villi, right? These are structures like this, and these finger-like projections are completely surrounded by blood vessels. Now, why these are surrounded by blood vessels? So that food from these finger-like projections directly enter the bloodstream. Therefore, they have lot of network of blood vessels. And why the lining or the wall of small intestine is like these, the finger-like projections? So that the area of absorption increases. To increase the surface area of absorption, to increase the efficiency, the structures, the wall of the small intestine are finger-like. One more thing, children, you need to remember the longest part in your digestive system is the small intestine, and the length of small intestine differs in herbivores and carnivores. It is the longest part of your alimentary canal, although it is longest part, but it is highly coiled and kept compact in your abdominal cavity. So I was saying that the length of the small intestine differs in herbivores and carnivores. What do you think? In which of these organisms the length will be longer? So children, the length of small intestine is longer in herbivores and comparatively shorter in carnivores. And why it is so? Because herbivores, what do they consume? They consume green plants, or you can say they consume grass. And this grass is rich in cellulose. So for digestion of cellulose, to digest, it takes a lot of time. Therefore, for digestion of cellulose, the small intestine of herbivores is comparatively longer than carnivores. Carnivores, what do they consume? They consume meat. And compared to cellulose, it takes lesser time to digest. Again, mark it as an important question. This question again, this question was asked in board exam, CBSE 2020 exam, it was asked. So this you need to remember. Now coming to our topic, that is small intestine. So we have completed the process of digestion and absorption in small intestine. Now where will the food enter? The food will enter the large intestine, our organ called as large intestine. Large intestine, or you can also call it as colon. It is made up of three colons or three parts. First is the ascending colon, then the transverse, and the descending colon. You can refer the NCERT book and look at the diagram. The ascending colon, transverse colon, and the descending colon. It appears to be like this. This structure is called as ascending, this is the transverse, and this is the descending colon. Now what will happen in the large intestine? As I said, further after small intestine, digestion will not take place. Then what will happen to the food in the large intestine? Food has already been digested. The nutrients which were required for the food, the nutrients which were required by the body from the food are being absorbed from the small intestine into the bloodstream. Now what is left in the large intestine is just the waste. So in large intestine there are various, or you can say numerous cilia like structure which just reabsorbs the water. So in the large intestine, reabsorption of water takes place. And then the semi-solid undigested food which is not required by the body enters the anus from large intestine. From anus, the undigested food is expelled out of the body. That process is called as egestion, and for expelling the waste product from the anus. Again, there are anal sphincter present which guard the exit of food. No, you should not say food. They guard the exit of waste materials from the body. So, removal of waste products from the body is guarded by anal sphincter muscles. Right, so here we have completed the entire process of digestion. You can have a look and then refer your NCERT. Read the NCERT thoroughly to make the concepts more clear. Thank you.